Peace and power, family. What is it? It's 4 a.m. in the morning. I was just about to sleep, but I just got inspired to come talk to y'all. Let me remind you that you are not this body. This body is not me. This body is not you. You are the consciousness that operates this body. You are pure energy, shapeless, formless, odorless, tasteless. That is what you should identify yourself with. Do you know why? Because the mind is very powerful. You see, the list of things you use to identify and subconsciously or consciously tell your mind that you are becomes the reality in which your mind forms. You see, you're so powerful that you're doing magic spells every day simply by things you've been conditioned to imagine. Talk less about what the collective consciousness imagines and turns into a reality. For example, what we're going through today as a collective in a reality is the matrix was created by our collective willingness to subscribe to this idea through illusions and deceptions. You see, nothing can be imposed upon you without your permission. But all this happens because of trickery, illusions. It's a simple step. Create illusions that makes the mind to, feel like those illusions are going to help the mind. I want to tell you this, fam. Your mind is not your body, and your body is not your soul. These three things are different. Your mind is the bridge between your body and your soul. Now, in a literal sense, right, this is what I mean. Your mind is a body on its own. It's a tool on its own. Your body is a tool on its own. Your soul, I wouldn't necessarily say a tool, but let's just be equal, right? Now, your soul does the feeling. Your mind converts the feeling into logic. And your body converts into practicality. And from practicality, back to the mind, back to the soul. Or back to the soul, whichever way you want to put it. But the mind is the bridge. So, if I make you identify yourself with your ego, there is every possible way that you can trick your own mind into giving yourself a false perception of reality. You are a god, hence you have just tricked yourself. Thus begins the matrix that you have trapped yourself in. I'm not in the matrix anymore. I'm a free being, multi-dimensional being having a human experience. My consciousness is unlocked. Now I understand why all my life there's been agents who have been coming into my life to trap me and keep me stuck inside a loop. But you know what I did? I always listened to that inner voice, that inner light, intuition. Irrespective of what my friends told me, irrespective of what everybody I used to work with, my mother, my father, irrespective of what everybody told me about who I was, I knew deep down that I was something. I knew deep down that my soul was worth gold. You watching me right now? Your soul is worth gold. But it all starts with your mind. You need to start reprogramming your mind. You see, you have to learn when you come here through your parents, your guardians. But then when it's time for you to become your own person and go on your soul's journey, you need to unlearn the things that you had learned and relearn the things you need to learn as part of your journey. That's how this game works. You came here as a soul on a mission, but you forgot because you came to see if you can remember. We are all God who came to see if God can remember that God is God. Who is God? God is not a person. God is a force. But until God enters an ego, this is my ego, right? This identity, this ego, which goes by the name Foster eBay. Until God enters this vessel, then God is now limited to a dimension of reach. But in reality, you're pure consciousness. What do I mean? We're in the third dimension, right? So it has a lot to do with thoughts and logical, rational thinking, and practicality as well. But let's move up to the fourth dimension for a second and think about something. Whenever you're in the fourth dimension, what do you see? Do you normally see yourself? You don't have an identity because you can actually observe yourself. It's like you're playing a first person. It's like you're playing a video game where you can observe your character 360 degrees, right? Have you ever noticed that in your dreams, which is your real world, which is the afterlife, your real life, you don't have any, body, but you feel, you're aware, you know everything already. You just know you're there. Because it doesn't need logical explanation. You see, logic is very limited. Logic is faint. Logic is so third dimensional. Logic is so bound to the ego. You need to skip, or rather you need to you need to. Logic is so conscious and conscious is so dense, right? Let's talk about subconscious and unconscious for a second. Yes, this world is crazy because you see people everywhere, right? The scientists, this person, that person, right? The world we live in, this matrix we live in is a society that makes us feel like, the more logically in tune you are, the more the more you know. You don't know shit. Yes, you can be logically in tune, but then that's third dimensional. Let's talk about the higher dimensions. And the fourth dimension, where you need to be less logical and more intuitive, subconscious. You need to use your subconscious intuition to make decisions. Anyways, let me start what I was saying earlier today in this video. The ego. You are pure energy, pure chi. The sooner you realize this, the more it will be easier for you to bend this reality. You see, I don't have limitations. I don't see myself as a limited being. And I don't see myself as someone who is necessarily overprivileged. I grew up in a poor home. But I don't want to talk about my egotistical accomplishments. Now I'm trying to tell you that if people are trying to look at me and think that the things I achieved in my life is due to maybe a certain fact that maybe I grew, maybe I had family help me, which a lot of people think, especially a lot of people who live around where I live and happen to find me on YouTube. They say, oh, he's born with a silver spoon. You're wrong. And that doesn't even matter anyway. What I'm trying to say in essence is this. Anybody can be what I can. Anybody can do what I can do. You see, I can stand up today and decide to sing music. I've done everything. Not everything, but I've pretty much engaged into every field. And I realize every single 100% of the time, every single field I engage in, as long as I put my emotional intention into that, which is now my bigger brain, which is way surpassed any form of logic. Emotion, the realm of feeling surpasses logic. Logic is a joke compared to feeling. Because when you're in the fourth dimension, you feel. You don't think. You feel. With your intuitive brain. With your heart and your gut, you feel. But anytime I can feel something, I can summon it into this reality. It never fails. Through music. I don't care. Look, I produce my beats, right? A lot of my beats, most of my beats that I put on here, except for a few beats which I maybe got through the internet or people sent to me, most of my beats I produce. I mix my song, I record myself, right? I've written a book. I'm well in tune with astrology and I'm still learning. Why? And I could go on and on, but I'm just to mention a few. You know the rest probably. But what I'm trying to say is everything, people around me look at me like I'm like a lot of hate, envy around me, right? In the egotistical aspects of life. I'm beyond the ego. The ego is a joke to me now. But in the egotistical aspect of life, people look at me like, oh, how is he doing this thing? But I'm going to tell you something straight up. Do you believe in yourself? Do you have faith? Do you believe in yourself? If you don't, let me teach you how to believe in yourself. Start something. Do something that you never believed that you could do in yourself. Can you do that? Can you help yourself do that? You listening to the sound of my voice. Do something that you never thought. Anxiety is the reason why a lot of people are drawn back from making attempts to see if they are great or not. A lot of you have greatness hidden within your veins, but your mind is so engulfed into the discouraging words and energies that have been introduced into your atmosphere, your aura, by people around you or people you hold to a high regard. This is the reason why you don't have the drive to do things. And then before you do it, you're like, okay, maybe for example, I don't know, you want to record a song or you want to learn astrology. The next thing you know, boom, you don't want to learn the things you need to learn because you just feel like it's gonna be a waste of time or something. I always encourage everybody on here to learn astrology because astrology is true spirituality. Astrology is understanding you can say, a way of mathematically deriving spirituality. I won't say mathematics, but it's like alchemy, maths, chemistry, biology. It's the all. But anyways, if you believe anything, you can achieve it because your mind is nothing but the transmitter and receiver of thoughts.